from the Israel Sports Radio Studios in Jerusalem, Israel, our nation's capital, it's Louis Live! Today's host, me, Ari Louis. Good evening, everyone out there. Hope everyone is doing well this beautiful Tuesday in the Holy Land. It's Louis Live coming at you from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. local time. Great show today. At 5:30, we'll have David Dobin talk about some New York sports. Yankees and the Mets always in the news. When are they not in the news? And the Brooklyn Nets, the soon-to-be Brooklyn Nets, get involved with some major trade talks and trade actions. They trade for Joe Johnson from the Atlanta Hawks, and they give up a bunch of role players, if you will. Really not a lot they gave up, and Jeff Van Gundy, when he's talked about trades in the past, is under the influence or under the thought process that the team who gets the best player in the draft gets the best deal, and certainly Joe Johnson, the best player in this draft by far. We'll get you some of the particulars in a moment. But the Nets are certainly trying to make a splash here in Brooklyn. No, not the Jewish nation's capital, believe it or not. It is not Brooklyn. It is Jerusalem. But nevertheless, the Brooklyn Nets trying to keep Deron Williams in check, keep him in Brooklyn, and not have him go to the Dallas Mavericks. And this will help getting Joe Johnson. So if we'll talk about Atlanta's future momentarily, but they have Joe Johnson in place in Brooklyn, Deron Williams. They told Deron they were going to surround him with talent, and now there's talk Dwight Howard could go to the Brooklyn Nets as well. He's told Orlando Magic management that he will not go to any other team outside of Orlando and, of course, the Brooklyn Nets. Different thought process about what they should do or what they should not do. So here are the particulars on the draft. The Hawks give away Joe Johnson. They get 5 players in the draft pick. And they're also going to send Marvin Williams to the Jazz for Devin Harris. The players involved that are going to Atlanta, Anthony Morrow, Jordan Farmer, former Maccabi Tel Aviv player, Deshaun Stevenson, Jordan Williams, and Johan Petro. Also, there's, again, the draft pick that's involved. That's the one the Nets got from Houston in a different deal. And more particulars on this. Selection only belongs to the Nets if it's not a lottery pick. If it's a lottery pick, then it does not belong to the Nets. Joe Johnson's 31 years old. I remember him back in Phoenix when he was a part of that 05 team that went to the Western Conference Finals and lost to the San Antonio Spurs in 5 games. Joe Johnson was the 4th option on the ball club. He didn't want to be the 4th guy. He wanted to be the man, so he went to Atlanta for less money. Atlanta had a couple of good years. Nothing earth-shattering, nothing history-making, but they made it to the playoffs. And for the Atlanta Hawks and their fan base, that's certainly an improvement and a plus. So Joe Johnson had 18.8 points per game last season. He's been in the NBA 11 seasons. He was a lottery pick by the Celtics and came out I think he played 2 years of college. So we'll see how it's Marvin Williams, who was the 2nd pick in the draft in the 05 draft after Andrew Bogut. He's going to the Utah Jazz. Marvin really hasn't made a lot out of his career in this point, but we'll see if he gets a chance in a new circumstance. A lot of NBA free agent talk to discuss. We're going to have Amy Lawrence on at 6 p.m. and 6:30 have Clary Carter. We'll see where Steve Nash is going to end up. He's certainly being talked around in a lot of different places. And the All-Star game, baseball All-Star game around the corner, so we'll get in discussions of who should make it, who should not. I think Yu Darvish is in my opinion. I think he has the stats. Could get slighted. You're always going to get someone slighted that probably deserves to be there. Just the nature of the beast. If they're only taking 25 guys, you can always make an argument for 26. And for those of you who don't know or don't remember for whatever reason, the managers of the 2 teams who made the World Series last year get to pick. Now, La Russa retired, so it won't be him. But Kurt Cardinals manager and the current Rangers manager will pick, and Darvish plays for the Rangers, so I think he's fine. I don't know how he could not get in. He is 3rd in wins with 10, 2nd in strikeouts with 117. I think he's fine. Darvish is making a case for the Cy Young. You have a couple of Rangers. Hamilton, of course, will be there. Still tearing it up. Average has dropped down since we began the season. But first in home runs at 27. First at RBI was 73. Just a monster year. Of course, this is his walk year, so it could be going to another level because of that. Seventh in batting average with 3.14. This batting race is pretty tight because Mike Trout and Hamilton, it's a difference of 6 men in between them there, or 5 men, excuse me. But the batting points, only 25. 25 batting points between 7 ball players. So that race is tight. And if Hamilton goes on a streak, don't be fooled by the fact that he's 7th in batting average. If Josh Hamilton goes on a streak, he can get the batting title and get the Triple Crown. Get first in home runs and RBI up to this point, and the Rangers a commanding 5-game lead over Trout and the Los Angeles Angels, 50-30. Truly incredible. That record is the best in the majors. Rangers are red hot, and their run differential is 100. 100. Give you some perspective on how high that ranks. Second place in run differential are the third place St. Louis Condors of the Central. They have a run differential of plus 63. So the Rangers are red hot. And, you know, having a 5-game lead, with the way they're playing, I mean, the All-Star break, it's going to be really tough to catch them. There's certainly no doubt about that. I'll just start off with that, 50-30. Here's some other stories that are going out there. How much money did the Miami Heat make this season? We're going to have Renan Katz on tomorrow, one of the owners of the Miami Heat. Now, the main owner, or the head owner, if you will, Mickey Arison, who is Israeli, he told CNBC that he thinks that the team lost money again. He says, this is a hobby, a passion, it's not a business. And, of course, Mickey Arison is the CEO of Carnival Cruise Lines. And, quote, every year in the building we lost money aside from last year under the old collective bargain agreement because of LeBron. The Heat have been playing in American Airlines Arena for 12 seasons. They also haven't ever paid rent thanks to loopholes in the agreement with the Miami-Dade County, including a clause that allows the team to pay itself back for its contributions to the arena's cost before sharing the wealth. So how does Arison explain how the team might have lost money after selling out its second straight season and 13 home playoff games? Quote, with the new collective bargain agreement, it works against us because of the dollars we had under contract already and the revenue sharing. The Heat paid its players approximately $65 million for the 66-game season this year. A $1 for $1 luxury tax above the $58 million salary cap, so that's $7 million more. So there's 73. And, of course, there's revenue sharing, and the Heat qualifies a team in the top third of revenue, so that has to they have to share their revenue with the lower money-making teams. Revenue sharing will eventually be 3 times as onerous as it once was. The full sharing of revenue doesn't hit until 2013/14 season. It's one of the main reasons why Arison was one of 5 owners who voted against the new collective bargain agreement, according to a report by ESPN's Brian Windhorst. So if you remember the beginning of the season in the summer, when they discussed the lockout, over two-thirds of the owners said they lost money, so a lockout really wouldn't hurt them. They'd be kind of happy to do it. And here you have the NBA champions saying they lost money. So something truly incredible there. Now, Ray Allen, it's interesting. I had a discussion with someone earlier today because this LeBron-Durant thing could go on for a while, and the Celtics could have had Durant because the Ray Allen draft pick, the Ray Allen trade from the Sonics to the Celtics, for that number 2 draft pick in the Greg Oden draft, really Kevin Durant draft, and went to, of course, Oklahoma City. Well, they were Seattle at the time. So imagine the Celtics would have Kevin Durant. But in any case, speaking of Ray Allen, he's going to visit Miami. Person familiar with Allen's plans told the Associated Press that the free agent shooting guard will visit with Heat official Thursday. Allen also scheduled to visit Friday with Los Angeles Clippers, according to the person who spoke on condition anonymity because the plans are not announced. Now remember, Remember, Allen was almost traded for O.J. Mayo, so he may not be happy with the Celtics right now and may not be interested in going back. In fact, LeBron James tweeted last week he hopes he plays alongside Ray Allen and probably going to have to take some type of pay cut to play in Miami. Arison's losing money this season. I don't know if he wants to pay Ray Allen anything more than he has to. Miami can offer Allen the mid-level section. Only offer the mid-level section worth just $3 million, just say it tongue-in-cheek, for next season. And that's about half of what the Celtics are willing to pay. Of course, Allen is the NBA's leading three-point shooter. So we're going to see what happens there. Now, remember, Mike Miller's probably out. He was barely able to walk there last season. And three-pointers were, I guess, somewhat of a weakness for the Heat. They made about 36%. Miller was the team leader of three-point shooting, 45%. James Jones second at 40%. So, James gets double teams. Bosch might once in a while. Wade might. They have the open shooter on the perimeter. Yeah, it certainly could help. But you saw a lot of the shots that were open for the Heat in the playoffs. Interesting stat here. Allen has made 100 three-pointers, 15 of his last 16 seasons. And, of course, the 50-game season in 99 was the only time he didn't make 100 three-pointers and made 74 there. So in 2011 season, 44% for the arc and 45% last year. All right, folks, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, and we're going to have a very special surprise on the other side. It's going to be really, really great stuff there. So I want everyone to hold on and enjoy. This is Louis Live on IsraelSportsRadio.com. I want to remind everyone to check out our store by clicking on the store tab.
You're tuned in to the only all-sports talk network in the Middle East, IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Body and Soul Gym in the heart of Talpiot. Great machines, excellent staff, and wonderful classes such as Pilates, yoga, and kickboxing. Give them a call at 02-678-8861. Once again, that's 02-678-8861. www.body-soul.co.il. Once again, that's www.body-soul.co.il. That's Body and Soul in the heart of Talpiot, which is great for your body and your soul.
You're already using a credit card every day. Why not feel good every time you make a purchase? When using the HAS Advantage Support Israel Visa card, a percentage of each purchase you make will be donated to your choice of 24 Israeli-based charities, while still earning a reward point for every dollar spent. But wait, these rewards are even better than the standard rewards you get, especially when using them towards Israel travel, with the best conversion rate on El Al's Matmeed Frequent Flyer program. Earn double points at some of your favorite supermarkets and restaurants in the U.S., as well as discounts all over Israel. If you love traveling and supporting Israel, HAS Advantage is the card for you. Just give us a call toll-free at 1-866-6-ISRAEL. Sign up right now with the code ISR10 to earn 2,500 bonus points. That's 1-866-647-7235. HAS Advantage. Earn rewards. Support Israel. Offer valid for U.S. citizens only. Terms and conditions do apply. When dialing from within Israel, please dial 1-800-200-818.
Israel Sports Dynamics specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Shutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Harry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248, or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
Are you tired of paying for expensive gym memberships that you don't use? Are you frustrated by not seeing results? It's time for the X1. Israel Gym Systems is proud to launch the X1 suspension and bodyweight training system. Lose weight, build muscle, improve balance, coordination, and flexibility. With your purchase of the X1, you'll receive a free membership to IsraelGym.com and access to our archives of videos and exercise plans. Sign up today at www.israelgym.com and get ready for the new you. Israel Gym X1. Higia Hazman.
DJ Venom. DJ Venom. DJ Venom. DJing parties throughout Israel. Birthday parties, weddings, club events, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, and much more. You pick the type of music and DJ Venom will turn your event into the party of the year. Available Sunday through Thursday. Call 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. That's 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. Book your party today. That's DJ Venom.
Broadcasting live from Israel.
IsraelSportsRadio.com.
You're tuned in to the only all-sports talk network in the Middle East, IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Body and Soul Gym in the heart of Talpiot. Great machines, excellent staff, and wonderful classes such as Pilates, yoga, and kickboxing. Give them a call at 02-678-8861. Once again, that's 02-678-8861. www.body-soul.co.il. Once again, that's www.body-soul.co.il. That's Body and Soul in the heart of Talpiot, which is great for your body and your soul.
You're already using a credit card every day. Why not feel good every time you make a purchase? When using the HAS Advantage Support Israel Visa card, a percentage of each purchase you make will be donated to your choice of 24 Israeli-based charities, while still earning a reward point for every dollar spent. But wait, these rewards are even better than the standard rewards you get, especially when using them towards Israel travel, with the best conversion rate on El Al's Matmeed Frequent Flyer program. Earn double points at some of your favorite supermarkets and restaurants in the U.S., as well as discounts all over Israel. If you love traveling and supporting Israel, HAS Advantage is the card for you. Just give us a call toll-free at 1-866-6-ISRAEL. Sign up right now with the code ISR10 to earn 2,500 bonus points. That's 1-866-647-7235. HAS Advantage. Earn rewards. Support Israel. Offer valid for U.S. citizens only. Terms and conditions do apply. When dialing from within Israel, please dial 1-800-200-818.
Israel Sports Dynamics specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Shutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Harry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248, or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
Are you tired of paying for expensive gym memberships that you don't use? Are you frustrated by not seeing results? It's time for the X1. Israel Gym Systems is proud to launch the X1 suspension and bodyweight training system. Lose weight, build muscle, improve balance, coordination, and flexibility. With your purchase of the X1, you'll receive a free membership to IsraelGym.com and access to our archives of videos and exercise plans. Sign up today at www.israelgym.com and get ready for the new you. Israel Gym X1. Higia Hazman.
DJ Venom. DJ Venom. DJ Venom. DJing parties throughout Israel. Birthday parties, weddings, club events, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, and much more. You pick the type of music and DJ Venom will turn your event into the party of the year. Available Sunday through Thursday. Call 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. That's 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. Book your party today. That's DJ Venom.
Broadcasting live from Israel.
IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Back here on Louis Live, we're still waiting on our special guest. Should be here momentarily. So I want to mention to everyone who is coming on. In about 10 minutes, we'll have David Dobin. 6 p.m., we'll have Amy Lawrence from ESPN. And 6:30, we'll have our Southern correspondent, Clenari Carter, break down the sports going on in the South. So we're going to stay here for a few moments again until our guest comes. I want to talk about Joe Paterno. Apparently, legacy's still a little more tarnished as the day goes on. He died last fall, but his stories about him, the legacy about him, getting much, much worse. Now, apparently, there was, because our initial understanding of the story was Paterno didn't know that much about it, or he was his friend. He was trying to maybe kind of protect him. He didn't maybe do as much action as he should, but he wasn't initially trying to be proactive in halting justice. But now we're starting to find out some more information that could be to the contrary of what we thought. There are, again, just a wealth of information right now. Congratulatory notes to travel logs. That's at the Paterno Library with special collections. There's 6 boxes and a folder of overstuffed documents, including awards, letters, handwritten notes from Paterno's secretary, and other effects. There's also an appointment book which details Paterno's various public functions as well as meetings, completed and missed, speaking engagements, completed and missed, and other commitments. So this is all open to the public. It's all public information here. And there's a devastating email in that public information from Tim Curley. Now, that email says, and it calls into the possible question, Paterno helped convince university officials not to turn over former assistant coach Jerry Sadusky. And our special guest has arrived into Israel Sports Radio studios. Come on in and take a seat. Oh, that's a great cup.
I'm speechless.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead. You can use that mic. Yeah. We're live on the air, so.
Oh, great. Nothing like dead air live.
Yeah, that mic always falls out. Yeah.
Hey, look at that. Is that a
Yeah, we kind
chess
of.
picture?
Oh, that one, yeah. When I played chess in New York in 2002 in the summer. I won. The guy tried to hustle me. I still paid him money, so I don't know how that works.
So I don't think you won then.
Yeah, right. At the end of the day, really what counts. I didn't win. Yeah, so what type of cup is that?
Oh, this is the Washington Nationals 2012, what do they call it? Souvenir Schedule Cup.
Okay.
So you can keep track, All-Star break. Right now, looks like we've got the Giants in town for 3, then Colorado, and then the break.
Oh, awesome.
Hey, what do you think of this whole vote for the last person in? Aren't they down to 2 right now?
Well, you mean as a concept?
Yeah. I mean, because, like, it always ends up a New Yorker or a Red Sox player.
Of course. Okay. Sorry, I just got a note there.
That's all right.
Yeah, well, I don't know what the whole point. I guess they're trying to make it feel like the fans are involved, which is good stuff. I suppose that's fine. But, yeah, it's kind of like this wasn't so much what you're talking about, but it was in 99. That guy in Boston voted for Nomar 25,000 times.
Yeah, something silly like that.
So these people have a lot of time on their hands,
I think
which is awesome.
Did he vote for him to be on ESPN? Because that's where he is. Him and Francona. That's interesting, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I'll tell you that Nomar, he started out well and then kind of went away, you know?
Yeah.
A little fishy
like
there.
That.
Just a tad.
Mr. Ham.
All right, chat's coming in. Little chat here.
Right.
Redskins Faye.
Oh, wow.
The greatness of RG3. She wants to know why we're not talking about him yet.
Because he hasn't played a down yet in the NFL. And I thought I just flew for 2 days so I didn't have to hear RG3 talk, but apparently not.
Well, apparently he came at an interview a few days ago where he talked about people like to exploit other people.
Yeah, because he was in the middle of an extortion thing by a basketball player from Baylor. Trying to extort him for something. The other thing is that, did you hear who else has taken interest in him?
In RG3?
Yeah.
Who?
Kim Kardashian. apparently is asking questions about him. Now, I believe RG3 is engaged. So that's interesting. And we all know Kim Kardashian has a way with, people's careers.
And ruining them. She dated, what's his name? The former Heisman Trophy winner, Reggie Bush. She dated him for a while. Oh, right.
And then she married, that was the greatest thing that ever happened to that guy. Of course, now I can't remember his name. Plays for the Nets. Was he in the middle of that trade with
Oh, right. The guy, he's only famous because of Kim Kardashian.
Right. She married him. I do come bearing gifts for you, though.
Oh, yeah, I saw so, yeah.
Oh, did it drop out? No. What is that?
The shirts.
Oh, yeah, but this is one of my...
Wow. Oh, my God. I have to put it up here. You see I have the jersey here.
I do. Is that a rookie card? I don't even know. I ordered it online. It's a Diana Taurasi card. I don't know what else to say about her.
So going into this is awesome. I'm like nervous. I just like holding it.
Yeah, well,
going in the draft, how confident were you that you'd be the first player taken? Do you feel you deserve the attention? And she answered, as only Diana can. People had been telling me that I was going to be the first pick, so I knew. As far as the deserved attention goes, I don't know. I think so, but I just control play, and I can't control outside people. That's just genius right there.
I mean, it's handled with grace and finesse. And I also, because I wasn't sure if you had one or if you did, I'm sure you left it somewhere. A brand new,
oh my God,
Reebok Phoenix Mercury basketball.
Two-time champion, by the way.
Two-time champion.
Wow.
Phoenix Mercury. Some gifts for the boys and for oh my God, some Nationals hats. Because I figure spread the love of the Nationals around the studio.
Yeah,
for
Moshe
and Rafi.
Oh,
some hats for you guys.
Thank you very much. Moshe
they could be World Series champions here. Could have a Beltway Series. Orioles. Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
all right, let's not go nuts there. Let's take a quick break, and we're going to have David Dobin on the other side. And you're listening to Louis Live in Israel, sportsradio.com.
You're tuned in to the only all-sports talk network in the Middle East, IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Body and Soul Gym in the heart of Talpiot. Great machines, excellent staff, and wonderful classes such as Pilates, yoga, and kickboxing. Give them a call at 02-678-8861. Once again, that's 02-678-8861. www.body-soul.co.il. Once again, that's www.body-soul.co.il. That's Body and Soul in the heart of Talpiot, which is great for your body and your soul.
You're already using a credit card every day. Why not feel good every time you make a purchase? When using the HAS Advantage Support Israel Visa card, a percentage of each purchase you make will be donated to your choice of 24 Israeli-based charities, while still earning a reward point for every dollar spent. But wait, these rewards are even better than the standard rewards you get, especially when using them towards Israel travel, with the best conversion rate on El Al's Matmeed Frequent Flyer program. Earn double points at some of your favorite supermarkets and restaurants in the U.S., as well as discounts all over Israel. If you love traveling and supporting Israel, HAS Advantage is the card for you. Just give us a call toll-free at 1-866-6-ISRAEL. Sign up right now with the code ISR10 to earn 2,500 bonus points. That's 1-866-647-7235. HAS Advantage. Earn rewards. Support Israel. Offer valid for U.S. citizens only. Terms and conditions do apply. When dialing from within Israel, please dial 1-800-200-818.
Israel Sports Dynamics specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Shutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Terry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248, or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
Are you tired of paying for expensive gym memberships that you don't use? Are you frustrated by not seeing results? It's time for the X1. Israel Gym Systems is proud to launch the X1 suspension and bodyweight training system. Lose weight, build muscle, improve balance, coordination, and flexibility. With your purchase of the X1, you'll receive a free membership to IsraelGym.com and access to our archives of videos and exercise plans. Sign up today at www.israelgym.com and get ready for the new you. Israel Gym X1. Higia Hazman.
DJ Venom. DJ Venom. DJ Venom. DJing parties throughout Israel. Birthday parties, weddings, club events, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, and much more. You pick the type of music, and DJ Venom will turn your event into the party of the year. Available Sunday through Thursday. Call 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. That's 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. Book your party today. That's DJ Venom.
Broadcasting live from Israel.
IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Back here on Louis Live, we're going to get things started with our first guest of the evening. For those of you just joining us, Amy Lawrence will be on at 6 p.m., and we will have at 6:30 Clary Carter, who is our southern correspondent of the United States. And excuse me for that. Of course, Andy comes here bearing gifts, Washington hats, Diana Taurasi College Kinetic card, and, of course, the Mercury T-shirt. That's Chris.
You know, how could I not?
Wait, now, where did the Mercury T-shirt you got in Washington, right? Or near?
No, I flew to Phoenix. And it's the WNBA. You can't get that stuff anywhere unless you're right there. I can't even get a Mystic shirt in Washington.
Because I bought a shirt for a friend of mine, the Portland Fire, in the NBA store at New York City.
Wow.
So I remember that. That was in 2002.
I ordered it online, actually.
Right. It's not like there's WNBA stores in Washington, right?
WNBA store?
Yeah.
No. Is there a franchise?
There's a franchise, yeah. No.
It gets a lot of airtime on sports radio.
Right, on the
right.
Who's that guy that has the host of the show? John Thompson.
John Thompson.
He talks about WNBA.
Yeah, he's not on anymore. He was replaced.
Oh.
Actually, retired. John Thompson's like a god around there.
They didn't fire him, huh?
No. So it's Doc Walker. It was Doc Walker and John Thompson. Now it's Doc Walker and Brian Mitchell. Do you remember Brian Mitchell?
I do.
Eagles, Redskins.
Right.
Yeah. B. Mitch, as they call him. Redskin Faye does not like that station, though. She is a LeVar Arrington fan. LeVar has his own show.
Oh, okay. But on a different network.
Different network, yeah. The problem is they all sound like athletes to me. Like they always take the athlete side, no matter what. So
that was Howard Cosell's problem with working with Frank Gifford.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you didn't pay your dues. You didn't go to broadcasting school. You just you played the game.
Right.
You know, I don't know. All right, let's.
I think that every time I watch
non-Dan Snyder channel.
Right. See, that's the other station claims that they're authentic because the ESPN 980 is owned by Dan Snyder, so they claim that station, they pander to the Redskins and they don't critique to the Redskins and this and that. So the other station is just a bunch of guys, I don't know. In the morning, it's a bunch of lugheads, and then in the afternoon, it's LeVar Arrington, who played for the Redskins, and who panders to every athlete. I mean, you've never heard somebody defend Joe Pa like LeVar Arrington, as a former Penn Stater, which it was always interesting.
Right. Face says, yeah, and LeVar doesn't pander to the Redskins. Haha.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's call Devin. Maybe we could talk some Redskins if we have a chance. More of a New York guy.
Well, with what's his name?
Clinari.
Yeah, we can do maybe a little. Is that too north for him?
Washington South. He might know.
But Devin, if this guy's really, I want to hear what he says about the.
But the trade, right?
Well, not so much the trade, but you're going to have the Redskins giving the Giants a run now.
That's right. David, you're with us. What do you think about that, the Redskins giving the Giants a run for the money with RG3 and company?
What is this?
The Redskins giving the Giants a run for their money. Of course, David joined us here on Louis Live and Israel Sports Radio.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure that's any time soon. RG3 is certainly exciting, and We'll see how that turns out, but the Giants did just kind of win the Super Bowl. I'd say the Redskins are at least a couple of years away from challenging them.
I definitely want to introduce you to my partner in crime, Andy Gershman. Andy,
when did the Giants win the Super Bowl? You said, was that January?
Yes, it was
February.
February. Yeah.
February, yeah. That's right. I remember that.
All right, so David, going to basketball, the Nets involved with a pretty big blockbuster trade, more or less, getting Joe Johnson. They give away basically nothing. I mean, no offense to Jordan Farmar, but talking about bench players, they get Joe Johnson. Why were the Hawks so eager to get rid of their star?
Well, if you remember a few years ago when Joe Johnson, first he came over to the Hawks on somewhat of a small deal, kind of wanting to get away from Phoenix where he was relegated behind Steve Nash. He came to the Hawks and then played pretty well, got them to the playoffs, and then they gave him a 6-year, $120 million contract that apparently only the Hawks GM, he was the only guy in basketball who actually thought that was a good idea. They just brought in last week, Danny Ferry, last Monday, was named the new GM of the Hawks, and his very first mission, let's get rid of a couple of our worst contracts, Joe Johnson and Marvin Williams. So what he did yesterday with the Nets, he actually tried to get Marshawn Brooks and even the Nets' own 2013 first-round pick. He tried to get those, but the Nets weren't going to budge, and Ferry realized this contract is so miserable, the best thing he can get for it is enough expiring contracts to open up the cap space for next off-season. So for the Nets, what they did was they gave up pretty much all their cap flexibility. But at the same time, they were able to hold on to some of their valuable pieces. And now today, when the trade went down, and this went down about 15 minutes before I went on there last night, and I spent some time discussing how Dwight Howard was now in a mess. He wasn't going to be able to work his way to Brooklyn. This morning we wake up, and it turns out there may actually still be a trade. Marshawn Brooks is still in net. They still have that first-round pick, and they're actually building a deal around this. The Nets are basically about to gut their roster down to 4 players, which is Gerald Wallace, Joe Johnson, Darren Williams, and Dwight Howard, and then build around that.
So the Nets are going to have enough space, let me get this straight, to re-sign Williams and take on Howard's contract and Joe Johnson's contract? How is that possible?
Well, they're going to have 4 players with Gerald Wallace thrown in there. They're going to have 4 players taking up all but $1 or $2 million of the cap. And from there, they intend to build. They have Tyshawn Taylor. He was there. He was the number 41 pick in the draft last week. From there, they are just going to fill out the roster. You're allowed to go over the cap to sign minimum salary players. But not just that. They also have the mid-level exception. They have these special trade exceptions, which they got in the Gerald Wallace deal. They're looking to get right now. They could sign Chris Humphries over the cap also because of his bird rights, but they're actually looking at a Bosnian center. He put a power forward, Teletovic. He played for Caja Labayo, I think. I might not be getting the name right, but he played in Spain last year, and they're looking to get him to be their power forward. And then, again, they'll fill out the roster with, specialty players, maybe get a three-point shooter, a defensive stopper, guys who they can get on minimum to almost minimum salaries. Can it work? I mean, they're basically following the Heat blueprint. Now, the issue with that is that the Heat have the best combination of all these teams trying to copy them. Right. No one's going to top a combination of LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. Darren Williams, Joe Johnson, Dwight Howard, it may come in a close second, but if you were trying to beat the Heat by playing their game, I'm not sure you can do it without being as good as them.
First of all, I mean, what I don't understand is, you can clear this up. Do they have to do this since they're moving to Brooklyn?
Well, here's how. Well,
I mean, they're always going to be second fiddle to the Knicks. It doesn't matter who the Knicks throw out. So, do they really think this is going to be the splash?
Well, Brett Yormark today tweeted, their CEO, the CEO of the Nets, tweeted out today, "We've got the back pages. Get used to it. Hello, Brooklyn." They're trying. The reason they had to make the Joe Johnson trade and the Gerald Wallace, give him 4 years, $40 million, was because they had to convince Darren Williams to come back and be the face of their franchise as they move into Brooklyn. And from a basketball standpoint, I'm not sure I really liked the Joe Johnson trade for the Nets. Now, though, when you add Dwight Howard to it, if they can get Dwight, basically because they made the Johnson deal, I feel like they have to get Dwight Howard to make themselves a formidable basketball force. Otherwise, they'll be stuck between having terrible contracts and not having a great championship contender team yet.
Right.
So I feel like
but
the Johnson deal.
I
the
just
Johnson
think that,
deal, I feel was the Johnson deal. I feel was necessitated by the move to Brooklyn. And that deal necessitates the Howard deal.
Well, the Johnson deal, first of all, I can't believe the Wizards didn't pull, because usually they pick up the worst contract available and just, pretty much ruin their franchise for 3 to 4 years. But second of all, it's great to post that you've got the back pages of the newspaper, but let's all look at the calendar, and it's July. So I'm sure the Knicks will give them the back pages in July, because we all know come September through late October, it's the Yankees back page, and then it's the Giants, Jets, and the Knicks back page. So the Nets always are going to play way second fiddle. What about Dwight Howard's back? Was that just a big sham he just pulled on Orlando at the end of the year?
I don't think so. I do think that's a concern.
So
and
how is he going to bang? I just don't see him banging in the middle, for a full season. Even the Heat, it took him 2 years. So it just seems odd to me that, I don't know, Dwight Howard has lost a lot in the reputation column, that's for sure. And with his quote-unquote back.
David?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, look, the whole situation has made him look, he's a waffler. He's wishy-washy. There's no way around it. He's made himself into the laughing stock of the NBA. And if the Nets weren't so positively desperate to have him, I would say, I'm not 100% sure getting him is a great move, but I think it's a move they have to make. But yeah, there's no question. His reputation, he was the fun guy. He showed up, he wore the Superman cape, dunked on a 12-foot hoop. He was lovable. And that's gone.
Right, he was almost lovable.
Detractors now.
He was almost lovable when he said he was going to come back to Orlando. But let me ask you this: in the history of sports talk radio, is this the longest amount of time ever spent on the New Jersey Nets?
Most likely, and of course, it has to happen after they leave New Jersey.
Right.
Living in New Jersey, we have our little. I'll admit, I talk a lot about Mets fans and Jets fans have the little brother complex. I'll admit, as a New Jersey sports fan, my father is a Knicks and Rangers fan. The only reason that I'm a Devils and Nets fan is because they had New Jersey in their name. So sure enough, the Nets abandoned us here in New Jersey, and all of a sudden they're becoming a respectable franchise again.
Right. And what are the Knicks actually just going to jump across town there? What are the Knicks? What are they going to do with this heap of mess they're in with a bunch of guys that can't seem to play together and needing Jeremy Lin to have them relevant?
Well, I think for them, the issue of Carmelo Anthony and Amari Stoudemire, I don't think that can ever be resolved. I don't know if they'll ever be able to fully make it work. But again, we saw at the end of last year, they were able to figure something out. They bought into Mike Woodson's system. I think for them, the biggest issue is in this free agency market is that it's going to be tough. Right now, they're looking at making Jeremy Lin the future of their franchise. And look, he played 25 games, and he was great for those 25 games. But he played under Mike D'Antoni, where he is the perfect point guard. He's a guy who's able to penetrate, kick out. He's the quintessential Mike D'Antoni point guard. And I think that under Mike Woodson, for whom he never really played, we're not going to see him be as productive. And you have the Toronto Raptors talking about giving him this poison pill contract where they're going to offer him a few years. He's a restricted free agent, so they're going to offer him at the end of the contract a year in which his salary will be around $15 million. And for the Knicks to match that contract and keep him, they'll basically be going into the territory of the new luxury tax where they're going to be paying $45 million for that $15 million deal. And so there's a chance they lose Jeremy Lin. Then the other point guard they're in on is Steve Nash.
Right.
Again, the Raptors involved in that. They have a 3-year, $36 million offer for Nash. The Knicks are hoping to somehow convince Nash to come play for them, despite the fact that they cannot offer him anything more, really, than the mid-level exception. And I just don't see how that's going to happen. Interestingly, by the way, if you want an idea of how big Brooklyn is becoming, Nash met with the Nets yesterday. Now, of course, if Darren Williams comes back, which is almost a certainty now, that's totally irrelevant. But it's interesting that even Nash felt like he had to go there.
And if Mark Cuban goes and checks in with Darren Williams and convinces him, come home to play in Dallas, I'll make you a rock star. Steve Nash, I mean, I can't imagine.
Jay-Z.
What's that?
Yeah, Jay-Z can offer Darren Williams. Jay-Z can also offer Darren Williams to make him a global star in Brooklyn. I think Jay-Z, it's funny, Jay-Z only owns about 1% of the Nets, but apparently his presence there has become a huge factor in this whole free agency season.
Sure, I'm sure it's got to be like the Magic Johnson.
Yeah. It could be the $300 million Jay-Z's worth, or it could be people are afraid that he might stab him, if you don't listen to him. That's something he has over other owners. Like, if Magic Johnson said he's going to stab someone, he would have a big, bright smile right afterwards, and you just wouldn't believe him. And Mark Cuban, he's kind of a muscular guy, but no, he's not stabbing anyone. But if Jay-Z said he was going to stab me unless I joined his team, I would either join his team or just assume I'd get stabbed. That's the advantage he has.
Well, I think if you want to have a concern like that with the Nets, you have to kind of be concerned that their owner is a Russian oligarch who may or may not have some ties that you don't want to mess with. That would be a bigger concern.
I saw
for me.
his friends yesterday in the airport.
Well, hold on a second. Just because this gentleman is the richest man in all of sports, you think somehow he got that money a little dirty?
Well, yeah, I heard actually Doug Gottlieb. I believe it was Doug Gottlieb. I heard a radio personality who had played professional ball in Russia, and he talked about how the owner of his team, would come by with a couple of bodyguards after the games and kind of just dole out cash, which wasn't in their contracts. Apparently, he made the impression that if you've made your money in Russia, you most likely didn't do it very, very morally.
Wait, don't the Saints do that also?
Well, and look at what's happened to them.
How's that working out?
Wow, the Saints.
What's the Yankee talk? What's the Yankee talk? World Series or bust?
Well, the Yankee talk. Well, last night was a bit disappointing. Seeing Mark Teixeira actually make a mistake at first base, it's a shock to the system. He's generally as steady as they come over there. Seeing David Robertson giving up a game-tying double. It's the second time in 5 days he's had a little trouble on the mound. I'm not going to get too concerned about him because on Shabbos he came in. He was able to strike out 2 batters in his innings. So I don't think there's anything wrong with him. I think fluke's just happening. He's blown a couple of games. Not going to panic. It was good to see Freddie Garcia get out there, pitch well enough. He wasn't great, but he was efficient, got guys out, left one hanging for Carlos Pena, paid the price for it. But if that's the kind of outing he's going to give them on a consistent basis, they'll probably be able to survive the Pettit injury.
And are you in the camp that Pettit really is only out for 6 weeks?
I see no reason to question it. I mean, besides for his age, if there's an issue that maybe he can't recover as quickly.
Well, I heard his recovery is being aided by Roger Clemens. Is that true?
I have not heard any of this.
Well, now that Roger has been let off, not guilty, bygones are bygones. It's all water on the bridge now.
That's what Pettit said last time. He didn't really use steroids. He just used things to help him get back from injury. So he should be fine.
By the way,
I'm pretty sure at this point he is going to be a little more careful.
By the way, guys, fellas, Roger's innocent. He just simply developed a new pitch when he was with the Blue Jays at the age of 33 years old. That's all.
Exactly.
And won 2 Cy Youngs in a row.
I mean, I live in D.C., and I could hear Dan Duquette screaming from Baltimore when that verdict came down. Yeah. So innocent. He and OJ. Anyway, so and the Mets, I mean, are they just going to hang around?
I see no reason why not. Santana and Dickey did it again, back-to-back days.
Know.
They
It's
laid
amazing.
shutouts. And, I mean, look, the defense seems to let them down once a week at least. On Sunday, they had those 3. They had that one play at the plate where catcher Mike Nikias just dropped a throw from the pitcher that should have been the beginning of a pitcher to home to first double play. These things are going to happen on this team.
Right.
The offense has been hitting a lot more lately, but still you have to wonder how consistent they can be. And, of course, the bullpen has yet to be shored up. So they're going to stick around. There's no question about it. Again, they're going to be probably something around a 500 team, maybe a little better. But I don't see them making a run at Washington or even Atlanta.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It looks like a member of the tribe, Ike Davis, is finally starting to hit the ball a little bit.
Nice to see.
Yeah, it is. I think he had a grand slam last week. But, yeah, I mean, look, you never know what's going to happen with Washington. You got Strasburg's arm in question for the late part of the season. But the Dickey, that is just unbelievable to watch this guy. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, Ari Dickey, he had his troubles Sunday. Wait, are you talking about Dickey or Strasburg?
Dickey, right? Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No, because Dickey, I mean, he had his trouble that Sunday night game against the Yankees.
Right.
When his knuckleball was actually rotating, something it rarely does. It usually is completely unreadable. And then again, Friday night, he had it back, struck out 10, walked only 1 in 7 innings. And, yeah, sure enough, that is what Dickey is. Today he was. It's no surprise he was named Pitcher of the Month for June. He's gonna be at the All-Star game. He's the top story in baseball, just from the sports writer's perspective, the stories of the game. He's absolutely the best story in baseball. And look, we saw he's not infallible. He does have nights when the knuckleball isn't going to be as good as he seems to have it on most nights. On those nights, he's not going to pitch so well, and that's why it's very hard to find a knuckleballer who, a dominant ace who can rely solely on the knuckleball. But, heck, anything at this point, he can just go average the rest of the season and still end up being an all-star worthy pitcher throughout the year. So the Mets are lucky to have him, and it's a great story to follow.
Okay, now how did he pull this magic at 37 years old? Because I have his career stats in front of me here. The last 4 years, it looked like, I know he had innings pitch. If you go by that, he's been consistently over 100. 2005, 2006. I suppose he looks like he was injured here. But what happened with him? I mean, his career went really nowhere, and all of a sudden at 37 popped up and got something to get it going.
Well, the story goes that he was in the Rangers organization. Buck Showalter was back then the manager. He sent him down to the minors where Oral Hershiser was his pitching coach. And Hershiser helped with the decision to just learn to throw a knuckleball. Until that point, he was a guy with, a 90-mile-per-hour fastball, solid breaking ball, but he was a fringe major leaguer, bouncing up and down. He was 33 years old, sent down to AAA. Chances were, if he didn't figure something out, he was going to have to call it quits. So as a last gasp effort, Oral Hershiser asked him to learn the knuckleball. It took a few years. He's been on the Mets for a few years. He's been up and down. He's had moments. He's had a couple of runs where he's looked really good, but this year was the first time that everything all of a sudden came together, whether that's just having a few years of experience with the pitch or if, again, the knuckleball is very fickle. It could just be incredible luck that he put together this run of 5-6 starts in a row where the knuckleball was as good as it can possibly be. That it's fully possible that it's luck, but there's also that experience factor that he's just mastered the unmasterable pitch. And that's why there's absolutely no allegations of wrongdoing here. His career revival at 37 seems perfectly legitimate, and you wonder if it's going to start. As of now, he is one of only 3 pitchers in all of professional baseball who is throwing a knuckleball. You wonder if there's a kid out there today who's wondering if he should maybe become a knuckleballer because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, good point. And they're talking about when you talked about the outing against the Yankees, if you watched Wakefield, that happened to him too. Every once in a while, you'd have that game where you just get crushed, and you just put that one behind you. But yeah, I mean, you do have to wonder if there's not more players. You see, Ari always says that sports, it's just they're all copycat leagues, copycat teams, and you see guys dipping down, you see guys throwing off to one side or the other. So who knows if the knuckleball will just become the next phenom.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm hoping for that. I've always wondered why you don't, for guys, if you can throw a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, if you put in one off season, where you just say, let's see if the knuckleball works. Can you imagine if Steven Strasburg just tried to throw a knuckleball and all of a sudden discovered that he can to throw one every few innings just to keep batters off tempo? That would be an incredible weapon.
Right. I guess the problem is that, you don't have enough catchers to catch it. I mean, Wakefield always had to have a special catcher. Veritek couldn't catch the thing for anything. So maybe they just don't want to take up a roster spot for the knuckleball catcher. I'm just kidding.
All right, Devin, we got to run. We appreciate your time here on Louis Live on Israel Sports Radio. Before we let you go, give a quick plug for your radio show.
All right, yeah, mtrmedia.com, mtrradio.com. Since I'm on 1 a.m. in Israel, you guys could just check out on mtrmedia.com. I post up the podcast. Last night's show is now available. We spent some time on Joe Johnson. Also on Geneva Tarmot, the track and field sprinter who gave up her Olympic dream, and seemingly I would call her a coward for it. You can check out that podcast on mtrmedia.com.
Okay, good stuff there. Intense stuff there. All right, Devin, thanks for the time. We're looking forward to doing it again soon. Be well out there.
All right, take care.
All right. That was Devin Dobbin, and you can check out his show. We're going to stay here and not take a commercial break. We're right at 6 p.m., and we're going to dial up. Actually, this guest, it's interesting because
long time.
Right, it was 2 years ago, right? I think.
It was at the other station.
Right, that's what I thought.
Our previous station.
Yeah, previous station. So this was a long time ago. It was right around when LeBron was deciding where to go. I think we asked her where, because I was thinking Chicago at the time. So this will be a real treat to have her back on the program here. And dial up in a moment. And
what do you think?
By the way, I want to remind everyone to check out our store. Click on the store tab on IsraelSportsRadio.com. Hats, T-shirts, books, candles, all that good stuff, and much, much more. Again, the store tab on IsraelSportsRadio.com. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We're in the 6 o'clock hour here of Louis Live on IsraelSportsRadio.com here till 7 p.m.
Hello.
Hi, Amy. This is Ari Louis. You're live on Louis Live on Israel Sports Radio. How you doing out there?
Good. How are you?
We're doing great, and Andy is joining with us, and we were just reminiscing that you were on a program about 2 years ago. We were talking then of where LeBron was going to go.
We found out.
We found out. 2 years later, an NBA champion, a 3-time MVP, and I always said this, that Michael Jordan had revisionist history done when he was in the process of trying to win a championship. They just said he's a scoring title winner. He'll never win a title, and then we kind of forget that's what was said about him. Are we 10 years down the road going to forget that LeBron was a choke artist or couldn't perform in the clutch when it's all said and done?
Hey, you make it sound like that was a fact. He was a choke artist. I don't know that I will accept that as gospel. He definitely didn't step up ever before in a playoff situation like he did this year. But at the same time, he also carried Cleveland to the brink. Cleveland, the Cavaliers, he carried them to the brink of a title. He got them as far as he possibly could, almost single-handedly. So this guy is not a choke artist, but for the first time, he was on a team with great chemistry. He was on a team with enough support, and he changed his outlook, his attitude, his approach, and was able to put a team on his back when he needed to. One of those times being that signature Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals in Boston when he had 45 points, 30 in the first half. Probably when we look back, I think we're always going to remember the decision. There's no way people ever forget that. That was probably one of the biggest sports blunders of all time, the way he did that, the way he carried himself. At the same time, another title, maybe 2 more titles, a scoring title, he starts to rewrite the record books. I have no doubt that when we look back, it's only going to be a blip on the radar, and that's not how we'll remember LeBron James, because he will be one of the greatest all time. And I know that angers people, but he will. This guy is amazing, and he's not anywhere close to, maybe he's close to his peak. He's not anywhere close to being done in basketball.
Well, Amy, I have to agree with everything you just said. I like to say that I'm not a hater. I am a huge LeBron fan. I think he is an unbelievable talent if people could just, get past, as you said, the decision. And my question, Ari and I were talking about it earlier before the show, you have guys like Dwight Howard who said he will only go to the Nets. You have guys that, I think it was last week, one of the Stahl brothers, I can't remember which one, was traded in the middle of his wedding. He was known that he was traded from the Penguins to the Carolina Avalanche. I mean, crazy stuff happens in sports with when players are on the move. LeBron seems to bear the brunt of all of it.
Yeah, for sure. This is a guy who sets himself up for that type of thing. And, I've done entire radio shows. I've done podcasts. I've done blogs on why people hate LeBron James so much. I put it on Twitter. I get dozens and dozens of responses. Everything from he's arrogant to he tries too hard. Like, that's a reason to hate somebody. Right. He tries too hard to, this is a guy who left Cleveland in the lurch. It was, and I will agree with that. That divorce with Cleveland happened on national TV. The Cavaliers didn't even know where he was going or didn't know he was going until they heard it on TV. But this guy actually genuinely wants to be liked. He's a basketball fan. He's one of the boys. He took it as, he took a choice, made a choice that was professional for him, that made a lot of sense for him, because he wasn't going to win a title in Cleveland. He wanted to play with one of his best friends. And so nobody in his situation would have done anything different, more than likely. But because of his personality, because he, like every great athlete, can come across as cocky. There's a lot of things that people don't like about his history, and the fact that he was the chosen one on the cover of Sports Illustrated so many years ago when he was in high school. There are a lot of things about him that, speak entitled, spoiled, rotten athlete. But I think if you look at LeBron, if you listen to him this year, if you watch how he played, if you interpret body language, all these things that we do with athletes ad nauseum, this is not the same guy that he was a year ago or 2 years ago or even when he joined the NBA. He's not the same guy. He has grown up. He's matured. He's accepted responsibility for his actions. He has even spoken about what he regrets. And he has taken all that disappointment from the last 2 seasons. He's turned it into motivation, and now he has a ring. And you know what? Probably for the first time in his life, he doesn't care what everyone says about him.
Right, exactly. Now, sticking to the NBA, obviously a lot of news coming out of New Jersey, but I know you're a Celtics fan. What is your...
it's kind of funny. I spent the last, 3 weeks before I went on vacation talking about nothing but LeBron, and people started to get, during the Celtics series, people accused me of being biased against LeBron, which I'm absolutely not. I wasn't rooting for him, but I'm not biased. And then during the finals, people started accusing me of being biased for LeBron, so you just can't win in this business.
Right, exactly. But what do you think of this whole, KG? He's on the brink of retirement, and he's offered, looks like a 3-year deal. Is that,
Yeah, 3 years, $36 million. KG has a little gamesmanship of his own. Don't you for a second think he was about to retire? Not a chance. If you were paying attention during the playoffs, you saw his fire, his passion, his intensity. He changed positions this season and had a second half that was all-star-like. There were times during the postseason when he was carrying that team with his defense and with his presence inside, his refusal to be intimidated. Talk about a player who put the team on his back at times. I know Rondo gets a lot of the credit, but KG is the heart and soul of that club. He played his way into a new contract. He deserves that. Obviously, in the NBA, contracts are guaranteed. So he may not end up being worth a $36 million in year 3. However, he got them back to the Eastern Conference Finals. He is certainly a piece that you can build around, and maybe now he can go back to his regular position because they did draft some size. They got Fab Melo, a 7-footer, which I think for size purposes, that's obviously something you can't teach. But in addition to that, he's only played basketball for a few years. And look what he did in Syracuse at 2 seasons. And then, of course, Jared Sullinger, who's, if he's healthy, that was the steal of the draft because he was supposed to be a top 5 pick. This guy is a beast. He's a space eater. He has a great post move, which KG is not a post guy. And so for them, that's where they needed to improve. We'll see what happens with Ray Allen. He's going to make visits too. It looks like the Heat, maybe the Suns too, interested him. It's kind of like musical chairs right now, but the Celtics obviously addressed a couple concerns. They were the worst rebounding team in the NBA last year, trying to get better there. And in addition, they have to get younger. They had to get a little younger.
Actually, I want to go towards Ray Allen because there were apparently news came out a few months ago. Ray Allen was going to be traded for O.J. Mayo, and is that going to be a big factor in his decision if he doesn't come back to the Celtics? Maybe he's a little hurt that they were about to trade him.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends and a lot of contacts with the Celtics for sure, and some of them have said to me that he definitely doesn't appreciate the fact that the last 2 years his name was part of trade rumors at the break. And so I think like any athlete, when you feel like you found a home, when you feel like you are a part of something big, and then you realize that your team, your franchise is willing to part with you, it stings a little bit. And then add to the mix that he lost his starting position to Avery Bradley, a good young defensive guard, not anywhere near the offensive talent of Ray Allen, but a guy who changes the tone of the game and is a great backcourt mate for Rajon Rondo. So, sure, his ego is obviously bruised, and he realizes that he's playing for his last contract. We're talking about Ray Allen. This is one of the players in the NBA who's in the best shape of his life. Who cares if he's 37, 38? This guy is a tireless worker, and he obviously proved that he wasn't going to let an injury slow him down in the Eastern Conference Finals once the team gave him the go-ahead to get back to his workout routine. And so I'm sure that it stings. I'm sure that he can get money with Miami. That's obviously attractive because that's a team that could compete for a title again next year. They've made him their number 1 free agent target of the offseason. But you know what? He's not going to start there either, obviously, because he'd be playing behind Dwayne Wade. And if D. Wade is healthy, you're talking limited minutes for Ray Allen. And so it's essentially the devil that you know or the devil that you don't. You can stay with your own team where you're comfortable. Your family is. You've established charity, and you can be, finish out your career with these guys that that you have so much fun playing with, or you can try something new and start all over again. But I don't know that Ray Allen will ever be a starter in the NBA again. I think he's past that point in his career. He can still help a team, but he's going to have to accept that. And you know what? No professional athlete ever wants to accept that.
It's interesting the Celtics because after 2010, it looked like Doc Rivers was going to retire. You didn't know Paul Pierce would come back to the Celtics. They pushed on for a few more years. Looks like they'll go on for a few more years with or without Ray Allen. But I want to go now to the trades with the Atlanta Hawks. Joe Johnson is out of there. We just had a guest on, David Dobbin, who talked about the Hawks wanted to get rid of some of their overpaid contracts, Johnson being one of those. And then now Dwight Howard, speaking of musical chairs, he might go to the Nets as well. He said that's the only team he wants to go to. Is Dwight Howard also playing gamesmanship with the Magic? He's told them to get a new coach, a new GM, and now he's telling them where he wants to be traded to.
I don't actually think that he has that motivation. Sadly, I feel like Dwight Howard is just a little kid who's kind of overwhelmed. This is his first kind of trip through the free agent process. He sees what LeBron James and Chris Bosh have done. He sees that D. Will has moved to Brooklyn. He sees, Chris Paul got this trade to Los Angeles, and he wants to be part of the mix. And so, a lot of times when you watch Dwight Howard, he's got this big goofy smile on his face. He loves to have fun. I honestly just think he's an emotional guy who this season spoke up every time, the wind blew a different direction. He would talk about it. Everybody knows that Dwight Howard will talk about stuff, and so the media would come to him. He would answer a question. He would get emotional. I swear I compared him to a girl Sunday night on ESPN radio because I'm emotional. Sometimes when I feel like sending a text message in emotion, by the way, this is really embarrassing, but this is what girls do. We look at a phone, we're like, okay, I'm going to send this text message. You know what? Sometimes if I sleep on it, I wake up the next morning and I realize, that probably wasn't the smartest thing that I could have done. So Dwight Howard speaks in emotion, and he gets so excited about building something in Orlando, but then he sees what everyone else has and he wants that too. And so for him, it's a grass is greener thing. I honestly don't think he's calculated. I don't think that he's conniving. He's not playing his cards close to the vest and trying to get people on the hook. And you know what? He was frustrated. So because of that, he spoke out, probably did say something about his relationship with Stan Van Gundy. I don't believe that he went to the front office and said, fire him or I'm gone. I just don't believe that he's that kind of a personality. He's like this huge teddy bear who happens to be extremely gifted at basketball and is still growing up. And so, yeah, I think he comes across poorly, and his image has taken a hit because he's flip-flopped so many times. I just think it's a matter of he wants to win a title. It's a nasty feeling now in Orlando, not just the injuries, but how they tank so badly at the end of the year, how the coach is out. I just don't think that in Orlando he believes he can rebuild anything. The situation with the Nets, though, guys, is crazy because they get Josh Johnson, a good talent, probably wasn't going to win anything in Atlanta, but has a fat contract. They are targeting Dwight Howard. But Darren Williams, if you don't have Darren Williams, I really feel like you take a step backwards. I mean, isn't the point to get this talent in there to play with one of the, the best offensive point guards in the game? Right. So I don't know that they have enough money to create a big three of their own, so to speak. I mean, the Atlantic Division in the NBA is wide open, so the Nets can make a splash there and could certainly challenge. It's not like they're that far off. But if you don't have D. Williams, what are you going to do? Like, you're just going to bring in some serviceable point guard, maybe an Eric Gordon, but I just don't see how it works if you don't have Darren Williams.
It's interesting because I agree 100%, although I know there's some talks about maybe Steve Nash coming, and I love Steve Nash and a big Suns fan, but 38 years old. To be honest, I'd rather take Jerome Williams at this point. Now, by the way, I was just thinking also the text analogy. You know what? I'm a man, but I've been in that scenario too. I'm sure Andy is.
Yes.
You're not the only one.
No, I haven't. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, actually, it was. Believe it or not, I probably should. I'll say it there anyways. It was with a client, someone who complained about something, and I was so mad I was going to say, forget it, and then I slept on. I was like, okay, whatever, everything's fine. So
yeah. Well, you know what? I will say that one or two times it's been firing off emails to business, like to work stuff. But for the most part, I'll have to admit, it's just being a girl about a guy and getting upset and wanting to say something right now. Well, that's what Dwight Howard does. He wants to say something right now. He gets, tossed about by these emotions, and he's like, that's it. I'm going to these three teams. I'm done in Orlando. And then he changes his mind because they're playing well and because he feels bad. I mean, he's a kid. He's a loyal kid who wants to do things the right way. And while his mistakes aren't as egregious as LeBron say, he still is just opening his mouth at the wrong times.
So, look, we did the Celtics thing, so we might as well hit another team of yours, the Denver Broncos. I heard there's a new quarterback in town. I mean, that's been reported over here. Not sure of the accuracy. Is this like all or nothing here with Peyton? It was such a weird, off season for the Broncos. They half their receiving core left, and you saw a lot of the Colts receivers. A lot of people thought they were going to go wherever Peyton went, and that didn't really happen. So Peyton and the Broncos.
Yeah, it's so completely the opposite in terms of feel and kind of build up from last year. I know that Tim Tebow was there obviously last year, but we were in a lockout and nobody had any idea that Tebow was going to end up being a starter. And as a Broncos fan, thank you. This is so much fun. I never get to talk about my teams this much. As a Broncos fan, I'm torn. I was torn. Peyton Manning is better than 95% of the quarterbacks in the NFL, even at 80% playing capacity. But Tim Tebow really lit that town on fire and got Broncos fans just a taste of what we've been missing since John Elway retired. It's been a long time. I was actually reading on Twitter recently, one of the football research guys that I follow was talking about how the last time the Broncos were in the Super Bowl was 1998. That was the end of the John Elway era. I was still a kid, my heart broken when they lost, but then winning those 2 titles in a row. And so I think that Tim Tebow kind of gave them some electricity, and obviously, these miracles that seem to happen at the end of games. But Peyton Manning is Peyton Manning. He's a Hall of Famer right now if he does nothing else in the NFL. And this guy is known for his work ethic and his intelligence and smarts, and obviously connects with John Elway. I was surprised at anybody when he picked Denver. I'll tell you that I was, because you're right. They're going all in. They are saying, we're going to win right now. We're tired of being losers. We're going to win right now. This is not a long-term solution. But at the same time, this is a guy who can change a culture, who can remind Denver what it's like to win, and, probably could put this team in position. And in terms of the free agent stuff, you're right. There was a little bit of turnover. Maybe they didn't get all the guys in they thought they would, but they also got guys in they didn't think that they would land in Denver. He turned it into a free agent destination, and people can't wait to play with Peyton Manning. Still concerned about his health, still concerned about his neck and his mobility, but the Broncos, Elway, wouldn't have brought him on board if they had any qualms about that, because they paid him a lot of money. And this is the kind of deal that if it blows up in your face, it really hurts.
Right.
So
yeah, look.
Yeah, so we'll see. It's going to be fun anyway. A different kind of fun, but it's going to be fun.
And for me, I've spent the last 8 months here in the D.C. area, and of course, former Bronco head coach Shanahan, the Redskins did the exact same thing with RG3. And, you talk about 98, and they're going back a little bit further than that, and haven't been relevant at all. And RG3, just has lit, this town, every single press conference, every word, whether, and it doesn't matter whether it's coercion, collusion, or Kim Kardashian. It's all on the, 24 hours Redskin talking. So I think both franchises it's going to be interesting on, both of them to see, because they both obviously have gone all in to see what happens here next year. And
you're right. And that there's the tie, obviously, with Mike Shanahan there, as you mentioned. They're in a different situation in that they need this to work. Mike Shanahan needs this to work. He's putting all his eggs in one basket with RG3. And I think he's dynamic. I think he has the potential to be the Cam Newton of this year's class.
Right.
Everybody has been so impressed with him, his intelligence, his football mind at a young age, and obviously his physical skills are imposing. And so he certainly could change things. I think, obviously, he's a rookie, and so there's a learning curve that comes with that. But you know what, guys? I would give him more victories in his first year than I would give Andrew Luck in Indianapolis.
Well, I definitely think so, because I think the teams are just built so differently, and the Redskins are built to win, I think. And, these two franchises are so tied that Manning is living in Shanahan's house. So, it's just it's the most bizarre situation.
And apparently there's a conspiracy rumor. Well, what happens if Peyton finds the playbook for Shanahan and then calls up Eli when they're playing the Redskins?
Right. You just never know.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so tired of conspiracy theories right now. I could throw up. Like, during the NBA, that's all I heard. But, it's funny. Nobody ever writes me or tweets me and says, oh, there's a conspiracy theory for my team. No, it's always against my team.
And no one cares about the refs unless their team loses. Have you ever noticed that? It's funny how that works out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just the way it goes. It's one of our rights as sports fans that we get to complain about officials. But when you take it a step further and it becomes a conspiracy against your team, which is a felony, it's cheating, it's illegal, it's criminal, that's when it goes too far. And I just got to the point where I finally sent out a tweet and was like, that's it. You sour sports fans, I'm done answering your tweets about conspiracy theories.
Yeah, right on. I mean, I think conspiracy theories are fun to think about, but I'm usually not that. I don't know. Some of them I kind of.
I would recommend if you ever have David Stern on your show, not to ask if the NBA draft is rigged.
Oh, yeah. Do you think that? Yeah, there's certain national hosts that have experienced that. So,
yes, I don't know what we'll be doing that unless it's really good ratings. Maybe then I would sell out and do it. But actually, me and Andy were talking about this in the green room. Just going back to the Broncos, why not keep Tim Tebow as a running back? Or he could probably play any position with his frame. Why? I guess as Tebow would just going to be hell bent on playing quarterback. But as a Broncos fan, I'd be upset that you guys parted ways with him anyways.
Well, I think there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, John Elway's a prototypical pocket passer. While he could run and scramble, he is old school. I don't think Tim Tebow was his kind of quarterback, and he certainly wasn't. He was kind of grandfathered in. Elway didn't bring Tebow on board, so I'd say that's part of it. Number two is that Tim Tebow wanted to play quarterback, and I feel like the Broncos would have been doing him a disservice to ask him to play behind Peyton Manning. He was never going to learn to be a Peyton Manning. He's atypical. He's unconventional, and while you can learn football from Peyton Manning, it's not as though Peyton's style is going to become Tim Tebow's adopted style. Not to mention the money. They're paying him a lot of money because he was a first-round draft pick. So if you can get rid of that contract, you free up more cap space. And I think in addition, and I will say this as a Broncos fan who enjoyed every second of last year's ride, but looking at it now as an outsider because he belongs to the Jets, I cannot believe how much attention, and I'm speaking as a member of ESPN, I cannot believe how much attention this guy draws. No matter where he goes, what he does, if he shows up at the practice facility and has a conversation with Mark Sanchez, we talk about it on the air, which as a Broncos fan last year, I kind of felt like it was too much, but you enjoy it because it's your team. Now I'm like, are you kidding me? I don't care what Tim Tebow's doing in the off season. I don't care if he showed up at practice and wore a red jersey. I don't care about any of that stuff. I didn't care about it last year, but I put up with it because it was my team. So I think if you understand the attention that he draws, the Broncos didn't want to deal with that headache in addition to trying to assimilate Peyton Manning and completely change what they've done the last couple of years. I can understand it. There are a lot of factors. I was disappointed. I enjoyed so much having Tebow as a Bronco. His leadership, his excitement, his passion for the game. This kid is, he's going to be good for any team in any locker room, and I hope that he does get back to being a starter just because he was fun. But I am not sorry that we have Peyton Manning in Denver.
Yeah, the fact that my 9-year-old walks around and talks about Tim Tebow at Yankee Stadium and how he was received, is indication that it's spread so far of the watch. But I am just shocked that the Jets have put Sanchez in that position a week after giving him the contract. But yeah, the last thing you want, like you said, is a future Hall of Famer with on the field and people chanting Tebow. That would just be a
at
disaster.
the same time, okay, I get that, and I understand that people say that's why Tebow is obviously going to start with the Jets. Come on, John Elway is not that much of a pushover. If Kyle Orton had started out 4-1 instead of 1-4,
right,
or if Kyle Orton had shown the same kind of leadership, people forget that it's not just that the Broncos had a losing record. Kyle Orton has a reputation, which is why it didn't work out in Chicago. He pouts, he gets sour, he's moody. He's not a good locker room leader. He doesn't have the same ability to rally the troops. He gets upset. Honestly, he's a little bit like Rajon Rondo. Rondo has that reputation for pouting when things aren't going his way, which is why he's so inconsistent at times. Well, Kyle Orton had that reputation. It played out when they had a slow start, and Tebow changed that. You cannot question his leadership skills no matter what you say about how he throws the football. So there are a lot of factors, behind that decision. It wasn't just the fans are chanting Tebow. Come on. That's ridiculous. That's an embarrassment. So I hope the Jets don't do that.
All right, last question before we go. Playoff system in college football looks like they're going to take the top 4 teams. I don't know, I was been called crazy many times about this. I've liked the BCS system because I kind of like the controversy in the season, but it looks like we're going to have
that's because Ari loves Colin Cowherd. I'm just going to throw it out there now.
Yes, speaking of ESPN, big Colin Cowherd fan. But what are your thoughts about this, the 4-team playoff system? Are we going to get a real champion where everyone's happy with it, and we're not going to have people saying it shouldn't be this or shouldn't be that, or we should have seen 2 different teams in the playoffs?
Wait, you're kidding, right? There's no way that everybody's ever going to be satisfied. Again, had this conversation on Twitter and on the air as well. We have 4 people are telling me they want 8. If we get 8, people are going to tell me they want 12. If we have 12, it's going to be 16. Pretty soon they're going to want to expand it to 68, like the NCAA March Madness tournament setup. So there's no way everyone's going to be satisfied. As usual, I'm always the minority opinion. I thought the BCS was fine. I thought that it pulled people in. I felt that pretty much, for the most part, it was the right choice year after year. People may not like the SEC. It's a little bit like the LeBron James thing. You hate the person who's on top. You may not like the SEC, and you may not think that an LSU-Alabama rematch was scintillating, but you know what? Those were the 2 best teams in college football, and that's what the BCS is supposed to do. Now, I know it's a big money formula. I understand that, it's controlled by the commissioners, and people get irked about that. So now that we've got this mini playoff, it's great. But guess what? Team number 5 is going to be pissed off, and team number 6 is going to, is going to look at it and say, "Are you kidding me? We had a chance to be there too." So no one's ever going to be satisfied, except for, of course, the team that wins the national championship.
And now, are we waiting 2 years for this? I hear this whole because they have to pick a site and all that kind of stuff and site planning. Is that really the only thing we're waiting for on this?
Well, I feel like there's a couple of things. Let's not forget that there's contracts that come with the BCS. There's money that comes with the BCS. You can't just up and make changes and not think about your sponsors or think about the entities that have already invested in planning for bowl games and are, planning for one thing, and you can't just all of a sudden change it. So it's a business. First and foremost, the BCS is a business decision to make money. It has done that, but it takes some time. And again, in the mix are all these conference realignments. I mean, in a couple of years, in 2014, the scope of college football looks completely differently. And so there's a lot of factors, a lot of moving parts, and, the NCAA does nothing quickly. And so it's just it's this big monstrosity, and it moves faster as it picks up some steam going downhill, but they need time to implement it. And yes, of course, to pick a site and to make sure that site has time to prepare for a national championship.
All right, well, Amy, we're up against the break, but this has been a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it, and thank you so much for being on Louis Live and Israel Sports Radio, and we'll have to do it again real soon.
It is always an honor, guys. I hope you won't be strangers for 2 years because there's a lot going on in sports these days.
I don't know how time got away.
That's my fault, Amy. I'm sorry. Well, you know what? We'll make a commitment to have you on before at least the NFL season.
Well, before the Broncos Super Bowl.
Well,
yes, you got it. I'm going to be calling you, not the other way around.
All right.
Sounds great. All right, Amy, be well out there.
Bye, guys.
All right, that was Amy Lawrence from ESPN. Wow, good times. Yes, that was a lot of fun we did 2 years ago, and it wasn't going well.
That Celtics and Broncos passion. I love, because so many times sports, like radio talk guys, they try not to let their passion for what teams they like come out.
Forget it.
They have to be vanilla, and it's like there's certain hosts that you hear that, I don't know who, like Colin Cowherd, who he likes. Do you know what teams he supports?
I think he's pretty neutral. And Jim Rome is also neutral.
Right.
You know who Jim Rome likes.
Right. I know in the DC guys, I know certain guys who they like. Most of them are DC homers. But, but seriously, a lot of guys.
Dan Patrick, I know who he likes. I don't know where Dan Patrick is from.
He lives in Connecticut because he's been there for a long time since the beginning of ESPN. But I know that he jumps on bandwagons because the LA Kings sent him a jersey after the NHL's on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that was his team. I'm sure every guy in Connecticut just always jumps on the LA Kings. Maybe because the Hartford Whalers aren't there.
They're getting a chat that Cowherd likes USC. Okay.
Oh, really?
It was said in a different language, but I didn't really know that. Okay. Well, all right.
I don't know. I know he was a New York guy. I guess he worked on Wall Street, but I don't know what. A lot of these
he
guys.
From Portland.
Yeah,
he worked in
actually,
Portland,
you're right. So, I guess he's a Trailblazers fan. I don't know, but it is funny because she does. She loves. I can't believe you missed on asking her any women's basketball questions because she is a huge women's basketball. I think she does play-by-play for some WNBA and
I
also
think it's the
college.
Connecticut Sun.
Yeah, and also a college team she does. She travels with. So, You really, I'm so shocked. I mean, especially since I gave you a Diana T card and Phoenix
She looks
Mercury.
so intense in this picture.
She does. She is, she's Diana T. What can you say? Imagine if she left and Nash left in the same year. What would the city of Phoenix do?
I don't know.
I can't do that. Nash, where do you want to see him other than Pheonix?
I want to see him go to Miami because they win a title.
I want to see him go to Miami just because I think it would just be a lot of fun to watch. Ray Allen in Miami just, it did make me throw up, but just a little in my own mouth. But, I mean, what would he become? He would replace Miller,
who's done
who
anyway.
couldn't walk until he went 7 for 7 in Game 5.
Right.
Miller, is Battier done also? Is his contract expired? I mean, they're going to put a bunch of little parts around, and who knows if Ray Allen. You mentioned the Ray Allen having his feelings hurt. Well, it was rumored that Pierce was headed to New Jersey. Was it also? Was
that before 2010? Or that
was last year. Last year,
okay.
there was a play also apparently for Pierce that fell through late. You had both of them. I mean, I think they were ready to blow them up. There is a Facebook group I'm a member of, Blow Up the Celtics, right now.
Yeah, well, after 010, it looks like it was all going to be done.
But
that was their last hurrah. They made it to the NBA Finals 7 games.
I mean, Rondo is mentioned in every deal, and they just swear they're not going to trade him. I don't know how you trade him, but because he's just half nuts. I mean, she alluded to that, so.
Yeah. But he does. Last season, he led the league in assists, I believe. Right?
Had to lead. Did he lead the league in triple doubles? I mean, he almost had to because it seemed like especially how about he led the league in Sunday triple doubles.
By the way, for a 10.2 drafted Rondo.
Who drafted? I don't. Okay, he was taken the second round, correct?
My Phoenix Suns.
Really?
Yeah.
They just couldn't use him, huh?
Yeah, we didn't either.
I believe he was a second-round pick out of Kentucky.
All right, I want to double. Now my Wikipedia's a little off. We'll double check.
Wikipedia is never off, Ari.
Except when I mess with it. If you get a chance.
Wait, you were the GM of the Phoenix Suns?
And I shook hands with Clyde Drexler at a movie theater one time. Yes, let's see here. Now, it looks like... Oh, no, he was the first-round pick, but he was 21st.
Oh, okay.
And it was the Suns that, of course, played with Kentucky. But that was before Calipari came and paid the players. Oh, wait, I didn't say that. No, anyway,
Calipari didn't play him.
He hits banners for teams, and then they take him down. Okay, let's stay here. We're not
it only happened once.
We're going to... It was UMass, and then the... it was Memphis, too, right? They
never won a title.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's a good point. You got lucky.
I got lucky. I'm not a Memphis fan.
Yeah, it was that whole
Memphis lost to that was Mario Chalmers' Kansas team, right? That beat Memphis.
That's right. Yeah,
it was Chalmers that hit that three, and I'll tell you, I only know that because I had a good friend who's from Kansas, and she went into labor the night of the finals, and she was like, couldn't believe that she actually had to not see the game because she was in labor because Kansas fans are a little nuts. And so when he hit the shot, the three, I think to send it into overtime, if I'm not mistaken,
right.
I sent her a text while she's in labor that says, "Please name your child Chalmers," but she didn't do it, which I'm shocked. But
she might have been upset at
Mario.
At her child. Was it a boy or a girl? Do you know?
It ended up to be a girl, so that would have been odd to have a girl named Mario.
But you could have said like instead of delayed, like maybe name a daughter Delayed or something because she delayed her watching the game. I don't know. Something to make fun of the whole situation. All right, let's dial up our next guest. He is our southern correspondent to the United States.
Now, I live sort of in the south. How far south are we going?
Let's ask him what he can cover because we usually ask him things about Miami and Atlanta, but we'll see if
we
have
can
some
do.
Washington.
I'm sure the Hawks are on the mind.
Absolutely. Hey, Clary, it's Ari Louis. Joined with Andy Gershman. How you doing out there, man?
I'm doing good, man. How y'all doing?
We're doing great, and I guess let's go right into it. The Atlanta Hawks and some news. They get rid of Joe Johnson and. David Dobbin, who was on earlier, said Danny Ferry wanted to clear out the expensive contracts. Any other reason? I mean, it looks like they're going to have to rebuild. No offense to Jordan Farmer, but I don't think he's a franchise player exactly. We love him here at Maccabi Tel Aviv when he played. But what are the Hawks' plans going forward? They just got rid of their biggest piece.
Well, right now there is talk and word of because they cleared up all of that cap space. They cleared off $103 million and took back $23.5 million between the two trades. Because you have to remember they did get rid of Marvin Williams. They were able to actually ship off Marvin Williams to Utah for Devin Harris. So they got the $8.5 million with Devin Harris. So that gives them about $80 million in cap space afterwards. So with all that cap room, Dwight Howard is an Atlanta native, and he's a very close friend. Should I say long time friend of Josh Smith. They're possibly looking at making a run for Dwight Howard right now. If they can go on ahead and do that, they don't even necessarily need to make a trade for Dwight Howard. They can either make a trade or they could wait because they do have all that cap space coming up next year, and the contracts that they are getting from almost at New Jersey, but the contracts that they're getting from Brooklyn are going to be expiring most of them next year. Right. So with all that cap room, they can either make a trade for Dwight or they can go on ahead, have enough money, and give him that money that they were giving to Joe Johnson. So very interesting take right there.
What's the fan base thinking? I mean, whenever you kind of most ownership groups do not want to hear the word rebuilding. So and Dwight Howard obviously would be a huge upgrade, but has come out publicly to say he's wants New Jersey or nothing. So how's the fan base taking that in?
Well, I know for right now, you have to admit Danny Ferry he's come in. So with Danny Ferry coming in, we already see that the writing is on the wall. And the writing that's on the wall is letting us know that, hey, he's coming in here, he's clearing the house. So that's something that needs to be done anyway because of the previous management. The previous management was, X my words, they were terrible. They were terribly put together, terribly managed, huge contracts that people who possibly didn't deserve a huge contract. Joe Johnson is a good player, not a great player. He deserved a decent contract, but he doesn't deserve to be paid way up there like that. That was the number one paid player in the NBA, and hey, I mean, let's leave that for Kobe and LeBron. Right. Let's leave it for those type of names. That's not necessarily Joe Johnson's place right there. Yeah. So we're looking at it from a realistic standpoint. And what it is Danny Ferry's coming in. He's going to shake it up a little bit. We've already seen that. Josh Smith, he likes it so far. I believe this actually puts Josh Smith into the role of being able to accept and finally be able to produce as a leader on the team. Not only being able to accept, but being able to produce. That's two very, very vital different things. You can go on ahead and try to be vocal, but if your game doesn't show it, then hey, you got to bring that. So
it's the Durant Westbrook factor there.
All right, Clark, let's go to the Miami Heat, and we were just talking about this in the previous segment about where Steve Nash should go. There's Ray Allen met with the Heat, Steve Nash met with the Nets, and I believe the Knicks. He's thinking about the Heat. What are some free agents that the Heat might try to land? They looks like they're going to lose Mike Miller, maybe Shane Battier, maybe not. What are some of the pieces that the Heat will try to add to win title number 2 with LeBron?
I know one thing. I know I'd be very surprised if Shane Battier was to leave.
Really? Okay.
That's just my personal opinion. I think he did great, and I think that he stepped up and provided a role for the Miami Heat that they lacked. He stepped into that position, and he performed greatly. Unfortunately, with the Mike Miller situation, he's just not in the health. There's no way.
Right.
But he went out on top, which was awesome. It's great to be able to see a guy with 2 bad knees and legs and back and everything just go out there and give it his all, especially in that Game 5 of the NBA championship. That was great. Ray Allen, I think he fits the bill there with the Miami Heat. He does fit the bill. The only problem I kind of have with the Miami Heat and the Ray Allen situation is that Boston, they just signed Kevin Garnett to a 3-year, $34 million deal.
Right.
Not only that, they believe that they have a chance and an opportunity to not only challenge Miami, but still be able to possibly beat them. They still believe that in their heart, if they had Bradley, who would have been healthy at the time instead of injured during the Eastern Conference Finals, you also look at a guy like Jeff Green, who was able to come off the bench. He provided a good spark for them. Very, very athletic guy. The draft with the 21st or 22nd pick, you pick up Sullinger and you pick up Fat Melo. That was great for them. It's showing that the Celtics are very, very serious. They've made Ray Allen their number one target during the free agency right now, and they could offer Ray Allen the most money. I believe it was a 2-year, $12 million contract where the Miami Heat can only offer the exception,
right?
The mid-level exception, which is only $3 million a year. So you double that up with coming back to Boston, coming back to a place where you already won a championship, coming back to a place where the big three, my fault. Let's make this the big four. Go on ahead and add Rondo in there. Make that the big four in Boston. Challenge Miami Heat to a Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I wouldn't see why Ray Allen wouldn't go back to Boston. That's just my opinion. I just see something about loyalty and being able to get paid on top of being loyal, and something about a team that is still on top.
Right.
You have just about the same amount of chance of winning a championship. Nobody has a crystal ball of who's going to win this year or next year. So
now, no disrespect. No disrespect to my Celtics, who I am very fond of, as Ari knows, but would they have been even sniffing that round if Derrick Rose didn't blow out his knee? And, I mean, we hear so much talk about the Celtics and the Heat, and but are we forgetting Chicago because Rose is just an unknown at this point?
Chicago, to me, this is just my opinion, Chicago to me is a great regular season team, and I just leave it right there at regular season. I think they're a great regular season team. Because if you ask me, even minus Derrick Rose, they should have got past Philadelphia.
I agree.
They should have. And that's just my opinion. Because Philadelphia, you have Andre Iguodala. You don't necessarily have. There's nobody that stands out.
Right. No one's scared.
Who was an all-star. So.
Right.
It's interesting. Earlier in the show, we were talking about LeBron hating and kind of why that's going on. And I made this point a few times on this show that in the last 10 years, we've seen stars accused of rape, domestic violence, gun crimes. And here we're angry at LeBron, or not we. I mean, me and Andy don't hate him. I think a lot of people out there don't hate, especially now that he's a winner. I think you're going to see a change in the thought process. But I don't understand the hatred towards LeBron. Yes, there's the decision, but that raised $3 million to the Boys and Girls Club. I start to think that people will somewhat forget this whole thing. John Elway, a lot of people forget, was originally drafted by the Colts and then said no. And that's kind of an afterthought because he won 2 titles and he's John Elway. So, I don't know, 5-6 years from now, is this decision thing going to be kind of in the back burner and people won't really think about it too much? Or at least not. Last year, the first thing we thought of when we heard LeBron James was the decision. I think 5-6 years from now, it won't be the first thing we think of. What are your thoughts about that?
My thoughts about that is that I think with the NBA championship and what he did this year, NBA MVP, he went out there and he gave it his all. And I think this year, I don't think we have to wait 5 or 6 years. I think this year, right now, in 2012, 2013 season, you might hear remnants of the decisions, but I think it's over. And that's just my opinion.
I sure hope you're right.
A lot of the fans, some of them we're still a little bit upset, but it's kind of pushed over a little bit now.
I mean,
even some of the fans kind of eased up a little bit in Cleveland. That's where a lot of it came from. So
Yeah, great point.
Right. It's just so funny. I mean, Cleveland was like the second or third largest television market watching the NBA Finals. So,
is that right?
It's always interesting to see because it's kind of. I mean, I don't know if it was the train wreck effect. They just couldn't not watch or what it was, but let me ask you a question because you're in the South. The obvious change from the BCS format. To a playoff system, 14 playoff. What is the effect on the SEC and SEC football?
Well,
and can there be four teams from the SEC in the playoffs?
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's funny, right? They can actually take up one through 4. LSU, Alabama. Yeah. That's the. I think it's going to be interesting. I actually like the format. I think it's going to actually prove who the LSU, and right now LSU is the top billing in the SEC. So I think it's going to actually prove that the SEC has the best football players because now you don't really get a chance to see the SEC the top SEC school versus a top Pac-10 school.
Right.
And the Pac-10 is great. And I'm a West Coast guy, so that's why I'm talking Pac-10. Right now I'm in Seattle, Washington for my grandmother's funeral. We just had that yesterday. So Pac-10 in the West is on my mind right now. But I think that it's going to actually put these top schools against each other correctly. I don't like it when I have the number 1 team versus a number 12 team, and then we have to try to prove that instead of 1 versus 2 or 2 versus 3 or 1.
Right.
I want to see those top 4 teams go at it. And you're right. You can have 2 teams from out of the SEC in the top 4. I mean, that would be great for the SEC, But I think it's going to be a great recruiting, and I think we're entering a whole nother realm of NCAA football, and I think it's going to be great for the future, and it's great for right now. I just can't wait to see how this whole thing kind of plays out.
Let's go to Major League Baseball because this new system with voting in the All-Star Game, fans get the final vote. Chipper Jones says he's going to retire after the season, so this is his last chance to play in an All-Star Game. Talk is maybe Bryce Harper, though. What are the chances of Larry Chipper Jones getting in his final season in the All-Star Game?
I think Bryce got that last. Bryce actually picked that up.
Okay.
Did he get it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's a shame because I was looking forward to someone grooving Chipper.
From what I saw, I believe Bryce Harper was. Yeah, I think Bryce Harper will get that. Chipper Jones, I appreciate him. The whole city of Atlanta loves him. Great MLB player. Hall of Famer, of course. His accolades is tremendous. But, father time.
Yes, absolutely. It's interesting because Andy made a great point with Chipper Jones that kind of the a la Cal Ripken. That season with 0-1, they figured out a way to get him in. He really didn't deserve to be there that season, but they put him in because he's Cal Ripken. Chipper Jones isn't Cal Ripken, but in the last 10 years, 10-15 years, he's been the best third baseman in the game, right, Andy? You said?
Oh, he is a future Hall of Famer.
Right, but he's a first ballot.
Absolutely. Right? First ballot Hall of Famer. But, I thought what they were going to do is they were going to put Bryce Harper. The problem is Matt Kemp didn't want Bryce Harper in the home run on his team for the home run contest. I thought that's where they were going to put Harper and get Chipper in this thing. But who knows? Maybe it'll be a special extra man. We've seen it before, right? In All-Star games, Magic came to an All-Star game, was in an All-Star game.
After he retired.
After he retired. So who knows, right?
Yeah. They can always do some type of honoree or, somebody who knows. We still have time. It's just one of those. It's just one of those things. It's very, very unfortunate. Not only that, but there was a couple of other players. If you ask me, from out of the New York Mets, David Wright.
Right.
Yeah, he should have been there. There's different players that I feel that should be there, and they're not there. Well, yeah, David Wright actually made it as a reserve.
As a reserve,
but there was talk about him not being voted in, and the different things like that. I feel that sometimes the fans Sometimes the fans, I love the fans, but sometimes I think, go on in here and have the fans vote, and I think MLB should still regulate it sometimes. And if they were, regulate it a little bit, I definitely would like to see Chipper Jones in there. And if there's something that they could do as an honoree, that would be great and awesome, especially for him and his legacy. We're talking about the first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Hats off to him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And play the game very clean, as he talked about in an article that he did it the right way. All right, Clardy, we got to let you go, but before we do, let's have you give a plug to our listeners where they can find more about your work.
All right, Carter, of course, JMC Sportsbook. JMC Sportsbook on Twitter, JMC Sportsbook on Facebook, and right here with Israel Sports Radio, of course. I'm the Southern U.S. correspondent. It's been great speaking with you, Mr. Gresham. I've never spoken with you before and been on the radio with you, so it was more than a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Being with you on today. Ari, I appreciate you guys. And Raphael, I love you, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, absolutely. Likewise, right back at you. And we'll be in touch with you very soon. And thank you again for being on Louis Live and IsraelSportsRadio.com. All right. That looks like we lost him there.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's
Is that what that means?
Yeah, I suppose. All right. Let's take a quick break. Should we do that or? Yeah.
I got one other surprise when we come back.
Okay. So stay tuned for Andy's surprise when we come back, and then we'll wrap up the program. It's Louis Live on IsraelSportsRadio.com. And check out the store by clicking on the store tab. Want to run to there. Great items, of course. Enjoy. Hold on a minute.
You're tuned in to the only all-sports talk network in the Middle East, IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Body and Soul Gym in the heart of Talpiot. Great machines, excellent staff, and wonderful classes such as Pilates, yoga, and kickboxing. Give them a call at 02-678-8861. Once again, that's 02-678-8861. www.body-soul.co.il. Once again, that's www.body-soul.co.il. That's Body and Soul in the heart of Talpiot, which is great for your body and your soul.
You're already using a credit card every day. Why not feel good every time you make a purchase? When using the HAS Advantage Support Israel Visa card, a percentage of each purchase you make will be donated to your choice of 24 Israeli-based charities, while still earning a reward point for every dollar spent. But wait, these rewards are even better than the standard rewards you get, especially when using them towards Israel travel, with the best conversion rate on El Al's Matmeed Frequent Flyer program. Earn double points at some of your favorite supermarkets and restaurants in the U.S., as well as discounts all over Israel. If you love traveling and supporting Israel, HAS Advantage is the card for you. Just give us a call toll-free at 1-866-6-ISRAEL. Sign up right now with the code ISR10 to earn 2,500 bonus points. That's 1-866-647-7235. HAS Advantage. Earn rewards. Support Israel. Offer valid for U.S. citizens only. Terms and conditions do apply. When dialing from within Israel, please dial 1-800-200-818.
Israel Sports Dynamics specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Shutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Harry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248, or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
Are you tired of paying for expensive gym memberships that you don't use? Are you frustrated by not seeing results? It's time for the X1. Israel Gym Systems is proud to launch the X1 suspension and bodyweight training system. Lose weight, build muscle, improve balance, coordination, and flexibility. With your purchase of the X1, you'll receive a free membership to IsraelGym.com and access to our archives of videos and exercise plans. Sign up today at www.israelgym.com and get ready for the new you. Israel Gym X1. Higia Hazman.
DJ Venom. DJ Venom. DJ Venom. DJing parties throughout Israel. Birthday parties, weddings, club events, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, and much more. You pick the type of music, and DJ Venom will turn your event into the party of the year. Available Sunday through Thursday. Call 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. That's 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. Book your party today. That's DJ Venom.
Broadcasting live from Israel.
IsraelSportsRadio.com.
All right, back here on Louis Live for the final segment. We're going to have a very special surprise, and I'm very, very happy about it. I was just told this in the commercial break. I did not know about this until this occurred. So let's take it away. And IFL MVP, Alex Sueca, not the reigning one anymore.
What you mean Jews can't play sports? And Inari, hit it with your Jewish sports moment of the day.
That's right, folks. Now the author of Modern Day Maccabees, talking about Jewy moments all the time. And he's been tweeting.
I am.
When we started this segment turned into your book. Kind of, right?
Sort of. I
Moments,
guess.
people.
But Swiek is in the book.
Okay.
Michigan quarterback. Can't go wrong with that, right?
Yeah, and we laughed at him.
We did a lot. All right, so July 2nd. It is still the 2nd, right? I don't even know what planet. Is it the 3rd?
Today's the 3rd, yeah.
Oh, my
July 4th.
God. Okay, I'm going to go with the same one I tweeted earlier. This is huge. In 1903, John Raphael of Oxford scores 103 runs.
What?
In a cricket match against Cambridge. Oxford wins the 3-day event by 268 runs. So great job, John Raphael, in 1903.
Errol Ballin, if you're still alive, you probably just dropped dead that we mentioned a cricket thing here on the program.
He might be changing his diaper right now.
Yes. Oh, wait, now I'm going to pick one right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you get it. You get to play along, too. This would be the 3rd, the one that says July 3rd.
Oh, yeah, you probably know where I'm going for. On this day, in 1924, Ted Kid Lewis wins a 20-round decision over Johnny Brown in London to win the European and British Empire welterweight titles. You just can't go around with it. The Kid, that's my nickname in Camp Ramah, Lewis, spelled differently. And that's when they used to really box. They were really fighters. They were real men back then. 20 rounds, not this 12-round crap. 20 rounds.
It wasn't fixed then?
And not only was it not fixed, that
was for $4 and a pint of beer.
And a sandwich, maybe. Anyone who's seen Cinderella Man, that was all true, by the way. Most of it was true. It was embellished. It's Hollywood, but you get the point.
There you go. Tad the Kid.
All right, so there's your Jewish sport moments. And Andy brought in Day by Day in Jewish Sports History by Bob Weschler. We never gave him a credit. Were we supposed to do that?
We just did.
Okay, now we did. That'll make up before. Yes, indeed.
I tell you, it's funny because from October to March, some of the Jewish sports moments are
a little light.
And then you go Hank Greenberg, Koufax, Hank Greenberg, Koufax, Hank Greenberg, Sean Green, Hank Greenberg, Koufax, Hank Greenberg. It's like unbelievable what happens during baseball season to the Jewish moments. We excelled as Jews in baseball. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, we were talking about the Greenberg, but isn't Brad Osmus in that book?
Oh, yeah, he's in there.
Okay.
The current head coach of the Israeli national team.
Right, and he was a guest about a month ago, a very funny guy, and very bright, went to an Ivy League school.
That's right.
And he made a joke that home run he hit in the playoffs, the 18-inning game, the 7th 18 game.
Excuse me, who are they playing?
Your Braves.
Thanks a lot.
And he said, was that the biggest home run of his career? And he said, no, it was the guy that hit the home run to win the game.
Right.
So he wouldn't have to go back out there again.
But, Brad Osmus. Who would have they're going to put together an interesting team when you think about the names. It'll be interesting to see how they actually...
Well, they'll have Sean Green.
Right. Sean Green, Gabe Kapler, it looks like he's going to play. And then I think they're going to wait and see what the U.S. team does because Kensler will most likely play for the U.S. team. I think they've already put out offers to Euclid and Braun will play for the U.S. team, I'd imagine.
Okay.
Well,
he's not Jewish, so that's fine.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Got to keep it real.
Keep it real.
But if Ryan Broad wants to come on the program and he wants to call him Jewish, I'll probably sell out.
We'll call him Jewish he calls us Jewish.
We were about to get him on one of the shows, and for some reason it didn't work out. Flaky.
He heard your comments.
Yeah, I guess that's what it was.
That's what happens. Glacier Cup.
Yeah. All right, I can't believe the show's over.
I know. That was a fast 2 hours.
Fastest 2 hours of sports, as they say. We want to thank everyone who came on the program. Of course, first off, David Dobin, you can check out his program, and he's been more of a frequent guest lately, so we appreciate that. Talking some New York sports, very honest about the Nets owner, kind of getting the willies about all his Russian mafia connections.
Well, he's one that's got to interview him. So,
but the Russian mob is someone you don't want to mess with, like the Italian. Okay, the Russian mob. When they don't mind going to prison in the United States, it's a vacation for them compared to living in Russia. It's a hotel. So, yeah, I'm not interested in...
I don't know. I was there yesterday. It didn't seem so bad.
Did they change things around? It was still cold, though, wasn't it? No, it was the summer. Is it still cold even in the summer?
No, it's just there's no English at all. It's interesting. You can always tell a lot about a country by its use of the English language. Because if you're using English, you're part of the greater world.
Right, the world's language, yeah.
It's like... and it's not French. I don't care what anyone tells. But who
said French was the world's
French
language?
is the international recognized as the language of
Oh
yes. Trust me on this.
All right,
you're gonna have to. But anyway, it didn't seem so bad. It was just strange place to be in. I'm 100% Russian, by the way. Both sides.
I think I'm 3/4 Russian.
Both sides, I believe.
Yeah, 3/4 Russian for like 100 years ago. Well, a lot of Ashkenaz Jews are a bit Russian. God bless our Ruski brothers.
Or forefathers.
Yeah, forefathers, yeah. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. We complain about stuff, but then like my great-grandfather heard me complain about what I complain about. He'd be like, I made a penny in 1 year, and I had to walk in the snow in 18 hours. Shut up. Sorry, great-grandfather. David Dobin came on and talked about the Russian mafia. Then, of course... Amy Lawrence from ESPN, passionate about her C's and her Broncos.
That's right. It was a good time with Amy.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get her on before the next 2 years. And, of course, Clarrie Carter breaking down the Atlanta Braves and Miami Heat. Well, more than Chipper Jones looks like is not going to get the final spot. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but he thinks Harper will get the final spot over Chipper Jones.
Harper,
you never know. You've seen Harper up close and personal.
I've been to a game. I saw his second home run. I didn't see his first, but I was there for a day game for his second home run. That was the game Strasburg got lit up because he had that rubbing hot stuff in his jock by accident. No, he had it in his jock. It was like uncomfortable.
Was it really by accident?
That's what they say. Yeah. Well, who would put it there by design?
I mean, it's a good place to hide it. But who's the guy that cheated in the 06 World Series for the Tigers? Oh, that guy. He came out of nowhere. Hold on.
Oh, here we go.
I'm going to have to Wikipedia this. Oh, and also before I forget, I need to Wikipedia the origins of the Twins.
Right.
We got to do this before the show ends.
Thank Clarence.
Oh, Clarrie Carter Redmond, yes, of course, for coming on the program as well. JMC Sports Blog. You can check them out there. And we'll just get these 2 facts and end the program. Now, by the way, the 2006 World Series, my Cardinals featured La Russa and Leyland as managers. They were, or still are, very good friends. So when that whole cheating thing occurred, La Russa kind of just let it go instead of that. Well, it's one of the starting pitchers, so I believe it's game 2. Yeah, Kenny Rogers.
Oh, right. That was a weird thing, the way they just let that go.
Yeah, he just had to wash his hands.
I just think that David Eckstein was the MVP of that series.
In 06. That's right. Wait a minute.
Go up.
Yeah,
Come
you're
on.
right.
You're the MVP guy.
You're right. David Eckstein.
Yeah. Well, I just read it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was curious because he played with the Angels. I was thinking 02 he wasn't the World Series MVP. I think it was Troy Glaus. But, all right. So there you go. It was Kenny Rogers, not the chicken maker. And he had a great postseason that year out of nowhere. People wanted to know what was going on, and then we found out later that he was doing something a little fishy. All right. Now our second question that I've been pondering for a few hours now. The Minnesota Twins. I can't believe I must be slipping. Oh, look at this. See? Interesting. It was originally, the team was in Kansas City. They were named the Senators, the Nationals.
We go back there.
Wait a minute. This is very...
The team was founded in Kansas City. Then the team would move to Washington, D.C. in 1901 as one of the 8 teams in the American League, named the Washington Senators or Nationals. Although the Washington team.
That's what it is. It was because we were trying to figure out. Oh, wait a minute! But you said the Rangers were the Senators, right?
The Senators became the Rangers. This is controversial.
Yes, controversial stuff. All right, hold on. Let's double check the Texas Rangers.
Or why don't you do the Washington Senators?
Oh yeah, okay.
Or the Washington Nationals. This is great radio.
Yeah, and it certainly is excellent radio, and it's right at the end too. So the last everybody remembers. All right.
Now the Texas Rangers.
Oh, now the Minnesota Twins, the Senators.
Oh, so twice they've had teams. So we were both right, Ari.
All right.
Wow. It's the last time that happened.
2 G's right.
I know.
Yes. All right, there you go. So the Twins used to be the Senators, and the Rangers used to be the Senators. Only could happen in professional sports.
Only in Washington.
Yeah.
Where there's barely been baseball.
Barely been baseball, and a lot of disagreements. 1 or 2 disagreements in Washington, D.C. occurs. Okay, so that is our program. Everyone check out the store. We get a chance. And, again, our guests, one more time, Dub and Amy Lawrence from ESPN and Clarity Carter, Israel Soren correspondent. Stay tuned tomorrow. We're going to have a great show. We're going to have Ron Katz, one of the owners from the Miami Heat, and much, much more later on this week. Great to have Andy Gershman back. But that's it for tonight. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Great to be back.
Yeah, excellent, of course. But that's it for tonight. God bless and good night.